It seems that they really are having some challenges over at one CBS Paramount. Well, of course, the company was sold, and now we're looking at serious layoffs over at CBS Paramount. Skydance, okay? So Paramount was the owner of CBS, and Paramount got bought by Skydance, and Skydance really needs to remake CBS. I mean, they need to remake everything, right? They bought this asset for a lot of money, and now they're trying to find synergies and find ways to innovate for the future. And there are a lot of people that are really nervous over at CBS as this all goes down, including Oprah's buddy, Gayle King. We talked about this last couple of days. Well, today, one of the big headlines in the Wall Street Journal is Paramount CBS layoffs. So it's official. It's official. King's future, meanwhile, totally on the rocks. She's making 13 to 15 million, which I would say is probably $12.5 million too much for the woman. You got other people over there, the evening news guy that you've probably never heard of. I'm sorry, I used to work there and I hadn't heard of him. I think he was post me, but I really hadn't heard of him. In fact, I'd never even heard him speak, which is wild, right? You can think about how much news I consume, which just shows you nobody watches CBS Evening News. We don't even watch clips from the CBS Evening News. So somehow I stumbled across a clip of this guy. And let me just say, one anchor to another, you need some voice lessons. I can see why you were a print reporter. I don't mean to be mean or unkind, but voices, they matter. And as a classically trained singer, I would say this poor guy, very nasal, very nasal voice. I don't know. I've never even seen him, right? So I don't think he made much dent in anybody's imagination. I don't think he had a lot of viewers. And so consequently, you making a lot of money, maybe, I don't know. I'm guessing he was cheap, but who knows, right? He was a print reporter, came in, woohoo, I'm in TV. Whether or not I look the part and sound the part, that's a whole other thing. And so this poor guy is now out. We don't know if he was fired, if he chose to go, whatever. But let's just say Barry is making some changes. And Barry means business, and Barry runs a good business. Barry created the Free Press, and she left the New York Times because New York Times was clearly not a fair place. Now, whether or not she can pull it off when it comes to TV, I don't know. But I'm willing to listen and be entertained from the sidelines, that is. Don't worry, not going anywhere, never would. I love what we've been able to create here. It's a whole different ballgame. It's just fantastic. It's a really sort of liberating and tremendous experience to be here with all of you. And I appreciate everything that you have done to make this channel a success. But it's very different than any network I've ever worked at. And yeah, occasionally, if the computer gets a little sticky, the sound bites don't run. But that would happen in live TV as well. The difference is I'd have somebody telling me in my ear. We'd probably have to sit there together for 20 seconds and wait for it. And then finally I'd be like, okay, no, all right, we're going to move on. We don't have that soundbite. So it's just a little more instantaneous here. And it's yet again another one of the things that I actually love about this business and what we're able to do in a very different but very authentic and transparent way here on YouTube. So thank you for being here. We have a lot more news to get to. Don't forget, by the way, to go to Spotify. Let me see if I can put the link up even into the chat. It would be wonderful if you guys could do that. Did I put it? I might have put it into the show notes, but if not, go check me out over on Spotify. It's the blue with the red cover. That's the one you want. So go check that out when you can. In terms of CBS, I just think that, they've got so many challenges. I did find the Spotify link, by the way. I am going to make sure that you get this in the live chat. But I would just say they've got so many challenges because it's a really stale old business. And when you look at things like 60 Minutes, I used to say when we were over there, I was like, gosh, it must be nice to work for 60 Minutes because you don't ever have to explain yourself. Everybody wants to go on 60 Minutes. And so that's always like one of the first calls they make. But why do they want to go on 60 Minutes? It's not because it's a great show. No, They go on 60 Minutes because 60 Minutes comes on the air like right after football on Sunday nights or right after football. And so they get these enormous ratings that really have nothing to do, shall we say, nothing to do with 60 Minutes being a good platform or a good program. It's definitely not what it used to be. And everything to do with timing. I mean, you're on right after the football game. If you put something kind of enticing, you're going to get some viewers in there to watch. And so that's really what that's about. Not about pure talent, not about really great reporting. I mean, we know that the reporting is not great, right? Here's the Spotify link. I just found it. I am putting it in. It's not great reporting because the reporting is so insanely, obviously biased in one direction. And that was proven out when we saw the Kamala Harris interview. Elohim, thank you for the agreement. You agree, It looks like you're maybe a member here on the channel. Thank you for being a member. Appreciate all your generosity. You guys are just really, really tremendous. Just a wonderful group of viewers here, and I feel so fortunate to have you. Anyway, they need you over at CBS, but I don't think you're going there, all right? So they're going to try and reinvent this thing to see, okay, can they compete with the streaming world? And my short answer is good luck, guys. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it coming. I don't see you being able to do that, in part because you're also tightly wound. You're not going to allow for your talent to have an opinion, right? Because you're CBS News and you have to walk this straight and narrow path. I know that Barry is trying to get some interesting new faces in there. Maybe Scott Jennings will come over and moonlight, when he's done over at CNN. Maybe he could do both gigs. Heck, I think those two are going to merge anyway, right? Paramount wants to buy CNN, so maybe Scott could do both. And yeah, you'll spice up the place, spice up the joint if you would. But you know what? I'd rather watch Scott all on his own, right? Without all the bells and whistles and the lighting department and the graphics and all the things that go into television as we see it today, because then it feels packaged as opposed to raw. And there's something neat about a raw opinion. And that's what none of these networks can deliver. Individuals can, sure, but they're going to do that on individual platforms. Maybe you take all the individuals and then you roll them up into something bigger. Just don't tell us what it is, right? Because the minute you say CBS News, none of us actually trust it. That's your problem. A big problem. I mean, and I don't know how you really get around that, but I'll be interested. I mean, Barry's a smart woman, to see what she's able to come up with, because I think if you put enough intelligent people together, maybe there's something that we have not quite thought about yet, right?